Hey Ryan, hey, I just want to do a quick walk around the car here, just so we're not confused on what's what. I don't want to drive over there to find out that this is not what you want or anything like that. Even though I've already paid for the plane ticket, I would still rather cut my losses now than drive over there and have to turn around and come back as well on top of the flight fees and all that kind of stuff. So I just want to walk around the car a little bit, show some things that I may not have mentioned, forgot about, or actually a couple of them I just found out tonight as I was working on this drive shaft. Speaking of which, I did take it to get it aligned yesterday, and they had showed me that the U-joint on the front drive shaft was actually pretty bad. Here's the old one that was on it. So I happen to have a 5-speed one sitting around the house. I don't know that there's a whole lot of difference in the two, but it's in there, and it'll definitely make the trip over to Connecticut with no problems. While I was under here, there were a few things I had noticed that I hadn't noticed before. One being this little fiberglass fender is cracked right there. It could be fixed, and if you're going to take it back to stock, like you said, shouldn't be a big deal. I'm going to probably sell those separately anyway. Also noticed this crack in the side skirt. I'm not sure how I never noticed that, or maybe I've forgotten about it or something, but nothing terrible. I'm sure it can be fixed if you're going to paint it anyway. You might want to swap those out anyway, because it is broken on the back side as well, right here. So just so you're aware of that. I think I sent you pictures of this little rust spot right here on this mount. It's not a huge hole right now, but it does look like it's getting there. Down this rail, there's also a few more spots that are just starting, nothing big or anything like that, but it's definitely working its way into rust holes. Look up in this code. This is the rear bumper here. And look up at the trunk floor. Let's see. It's getting pretty weak right in there and separating from that part. During the alignment, they also were struggling with this bushing. I've got it soaking in PB Blaster right now. It's kind of welded itself to the inner bushing, so they're not able to align the rear wheels correctly at this time. They did do the front wheels, and it does drive a little better than it was, so that's a good thing. It'll make my trip a little more enjoyable as well. Just noticed that there was a little bit of oil coming from this rear shock. I bought these, I've got like 97,000 miles on them, so they're kind of nick and tuck anyway, but just like I said, just want to show you everything that we're looking at. Here's the other frame rails looking at it. Can't really see underneath the gas tank part of it, but if you buy this mount, just like the other side, it's starting to get a pretty good hole going there. So back over to the side skirt here. Actually looks pretty good on this back part. There's a little bit of a crack right there. Probably fix that too if you really wanted to. Looks like there's a little ding right there somehow too. Not sure exactly what that is. There's the damage to the door from when my wife backed into it. You can kind of see where it's wrinkled that bottom seam right there. And there was also, you can't really see too well, a little bit of a push in right there. That shouldn't be too big a deal to fix either. But it did break the side skirt as well right here in this corner. So moving up here, here's a little bit of rust that I was showing you pictures of. It looks like you can't actually see up underneath of it into the inner. Well, as a matter of fact, I think that black spot is actually the carpet, possibly. So there's pretty decent rust going on here. And it's in the same spot on the other side. Not quite as bad, but it's it's definitely deteriorating in the metal area there. So not sure what else to show you now. It does appear that there's some leakage going on somewhere around this transmission or transfer case. I'm not sure which. It might have been just the oil. I'm not sure. Actually, looks like the oil pan is starting to rust a little bit there too, but that might be able to be sanded down and covered as well. And oh, there you go. Looks like we got some oil coming out from the front seal here as well that I was not aware of. Looks like someone tried to fix it once actually. Looks like there's some silicone or something up inside there. So possibly power steering fluid leak up here. I've never actually not had power steering in the entire time that I've been driving the car, so I don't know how that would be if that was leaking, but it does appear to be wet there. There's a little more of the transmission is pretty wet. I'm not exactly sure where that's coming from either. So, and there is a little bit of noise coming from it too when I turn the wheels. I'm not sure if that's normal or not, to be honest with you. Couldn't say. But it's something I thought I'd want to share with you. This front bumper, I'm pretty sure I mentioned it in the ad. It had been bumped, like right in here. It's kind of a little bit deformed, nothing major, but there's a little bit of a rip down here in this corner, down where the fog light would be. So that it could be fixed fairly easily if you wanted to do that, or just get another one for $300 and some. Also another cut there on it as well. Intercoolers, they look a little bit beat up. They've had a lot of mileage on them, so I'm not too surprised by that. But again, just wanted to point out some of the things that we're looking at. Wheels are on it. Got a little bit of curb rash here and there. Actually pretty nice. I kind of like to hold on to them actually, but if I put anything else on it, I'd probably have to buy tires, and just not worth all that. So look at this rear wheel back here. It actually looks pretty decent. A couple of nicks here and there. And then there's a pretty good scratch there on that portion. This is probably the best out of the bunch. It's looking pretty good. A little bit of a scuff right there. Might polish out, I don't know. And front wheel, it actually got a pretty good hit on the curb. I actually think I did a lot of this, like the first time I drove it with these wheels on it. There was pretty good gouges on it when I first tried to park it. So I'm gonna lower the car down and we'll take you around the body and the interior.